Horsewhipped a Kodak for taking his picture in public. President Teddy Roosevelt banned Kodaking in Washington parks because it freaked us out. We didn't know what to do with it, right? But finally, we figured it out, right? We understood what it meant to have a camera, what it meant to be able to take a picture. We're smart. And now, of course, everyone takes our picture all the time, and it's okay. In 1957-67, Alan Weston, who's a real expert at the time in privacy, listed all of the technologies that he thought could be a threat to our privacy at the time, right? LSD as a drug would make us reveal all of our thoughts. Little microphones, little cameras, radioactive umbrellas, I still don't understand that. Magnetic tattoos, all these ideas that he said were going to be a disaster for privacy. Well, again, it's important to be concerned, it's important to think about the worst that could happen, but the worst often does not happen. The horrible things that he thought would come from privacy did not. Today, here in Germany, Peter Schaar has listed some more technologies that he fears could do ill for us. Now, once again, it is right and proper to worry about the worst that can happen, so we try to prevent it. But if that's all we do, I have fears about the kind of society that we build. Douglas Adams, the author, said something wonderful. He said that any technology that is invented before we're born is fine. Any technology invented before we're 30 years old is wonderful. Any technology designed after we're 30 years old is the end of mankind until we figure it out, and then it's okay. So, now we have the technology of technologies. We have the internet, the great disruptor that is changing our lives, changing our societies in ways that we still cannot figure out and cannot understand. I return to your landsman Gutenberg. Elizabeth Eisenstein, who's a key scholar of Gutenberg, says that the shape of the book, the form of the book, was not known until 50 years after the press was invented. And the impact on society wasn't fully felt for 100 years. So in that sense, my friends, in Gutenberg years, the internet is now about 1472. It's still very early. We don't know what it is yet. We don't know what all it can do yet. So, I like to talk about, I love to come to Germany all the time, even though my German is awful. You don't help me learning German better because you all speak English. And I found Germany to be a fascinating laboratory, of course, for the issues of privacy that are faced by society and media and government. And so, of course, it was in Germany that you have the invention of the Verpixelungsrecht. Right? And here came Google Street View and this fear about what could happen if someone takes a picture of your building. Now, I looked at that a bit oddly because to me, if I stand in public, taking a picture of a public view, that's public, but not here. There was great concern, really more than anywhere else. Google will tell you that the issues about privacy are greater in Germany probably than anywhere else in the world for them. So, Street View and Buzz and so on. Pardon me now for using this to make a simple little joke. But when I was researching the book, I went for the first time to my first German sauna. Gemischt und nackt. Now to an American, this is shocking. We don't do that. Right? The idea you're exposed to everyone around, oh my God. Right? We're puritanical. Now I actually think that the German attitude is very mature and smart. In fact, I'll ask you later for recommendations for a nice sauna in Nürnberg, and I'll go later. But Here's my joke. The joke that I tell back in the US is that the German sauna shows me that Germans care deeply about the privacy of everything except, of course, their private parts. Now, pardon me, it's just a joke. The reason I say it is not, I know better, of course, no one wants a camera in a sauna, I understand all that. But it forces us to ask, why is the private private, and why is the public public? And of course, in every culture, we have differences. The Scandinavians share what they pay for taxes and what they make in public. That to an American is very odd. To a Swiss, it would be illegal. The Dutch have their windows open, right? The funny thing is, when I went to Street View to try to find an image of an open Dutch window, I couldn't find one. They all must have known the Street View car was coming that day and they shut their windows. In America, we think that once you're arrested for a crime, that is a public event. This is Bill Gates, if you don't know. And of course, in America, we now have our dear spas at prison. So we all have different, which I'm happy to talk about. We all have different attitudes toward publicness. And now comes the culture of the net. And I was asked earlier this morning whether or not the internet is a different culture too. I'm not sure the internet is a culture itself, but it has an impact on all of our cultures. And we, in Twitter, supposedly love to tell everyone what we had for breakfast. I won't tell you. So, I found it very difficult to decide the definition of privacy. I really couldn't understand the word privacy in the end. I thought it was going to be very, very simple to understand privacy, but I found it was not. One definition is that you are deprived of public notice. Notice that idea of being deprived, that you should be public. Hannah Arendt said that you're not fully human unless you are public. Otherwise you are deprived, you are kept in a cage. There is an argument that none of us had any privacy until the hallway was invented. Because otherwise we went room to room through each other's business. And until the back stairs were invented in the UK, that made the idea of having a private life new. Daniel Soloff, who is a scholar on privacy, said that the word is so broad, it means everything and nothing at the same time. Now, Brandeis and Warren are two American legal leaders from the past. Brandeis was on the Supreme Court. They're the ones in 1890, because of the Kodak camera, who wrote the first important legal essay about the notion of privacy. Now, right now in the US, we're having a lot of talk, obviously, about the NSA and prison. The funny thing is that the word privacy is not, per se, in our Bill of Rights. There's an argument that our Fourth Amendment, that withholds the government from making unreasonable search and seizure, is a right to privacy. But Brandeis and Warren had to make a little bit of a stretch to make this happen. The legal doctrines of privacy didn't come until years later. But they said at the time, privacy is really about the right to be left alone. Well, they said it came down to a matter of human feelings. Now, I don't say that to make fun of it. Feelings are important, but feelings are hard to get your hands around. You don't necessarily know what that means. This is another privacy guy who said that privacy, I love this, means control over who can see us, hear us, touch us, smell us, taste us, in some control over who can sense us. If you take that to its fullest, you're going to live in the Unabomber's cabin, all alone somewhere. You're going to be outside of society. I don't like that definition of privacy. That goes too far. And so we try to negotiate what it means. So a bad definition of privacy, I think, is the idea of control. Because you can't fully control the world around you. You all are seeing me here today, you'll tweet what I say, you can make fun of me, you can do whatever you want. I can't control that. Much as I might want to, and have you all tweet nice things. I cannot control that. A worse definition, and I don't know how this translates auf Deutsch. We hear this word a lot in the US. It's creepy. Gee, it's creepy that Google can do this. It's creepy that Facebook has that. It's creepy that Twitter follows us everywhere. Well, it's a very bad definition because the word means nothing. It's an emotional thing. It just says, I don't like it. I don't know what to do with it, right? But there's no way to create a legal definition around this notion of being creepy. Dell soon learned a lesson, and they really went from worst to first and found the ways to listen to the people, to have technicians solve people's problems, to find the way that customers can suggest products. They really did great things, but they couldn't do that if they weren't listening.